welcome to another episode 12 of Through Deep Waters.
Oh, I held up 11. I thought it was 11. My bad. 12.
12 of Through Deep Waters. Today's guest, actually, I'm very excited for this guest. We have a really interesting guest and a really interesting topic. Would you like to introduce yourself?
For anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Hussam. I've been friends with these guys for years, since the AOS days. Shoutout American University, security keep kicking me out. But yeah, so our topic today, if you guys want to introduce it, I don't mind.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so our topic today is about people pleasing and just talking about what it is for someone who doesn't understand it. I just want someone to watch this that has never had the problem of people pleasing, and to kind of get the gist of it, not just that, oh, you just can't say no or something like that. I really want to delve deep into it and make them understand or feel for someone that might have it, and steps you can take to make it better, obviously.
Facts, because I think me and you both have felt have had to deal with this
100%.
for a while.
I'm guilty of this. I'm guilty of this for sure.
I don't know about you, Hussein, but this has been a problem for me. You've seen it be a problem for me. It's been a problem for Hussam too in his life.
Yeah,
too.
it's something serious. It's not like, this is the thing I was saying earlier, is I don't want you to hear the term people pleasing and your first instinct is, well, why not just say no? It's not that easy. It's something mental. It's like almost a voice in your head that is preventing you from saying no. And even though there's another voice in your head that's saying this situation is clearly stupid. You should not be putting yourself into this. Yeah. Why are you just not saying no? But it's just this impossible mental block that you just cannot get through.
Hassan, bro, you hit the ground running right now,
bro.
We're
gonna slow it down for 1 second before we get started.
Before we get into anything, I want to give shout out very quickly to Zach and Chris, who are in the cut right now behind the scenes
Our
right
first
now.
ever live audience.
Yeah, it's a live audience.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
They're vaccinated and masked. Well, they're not masked, but
Why are you capping, bro? You COVID test negative?
There you go.
No, that's the thing they start saying in live studio audience now, is that they're a small number, they're vaccinated, don't worry about it. I'm like, okay.
Hey, we're following local regulations. Local regulations don't have mask mandate inside.
Shout out Al Hussein app, you know what it is.
Guys, we need to first address one thing, and it's our.
Verify the negative COVID test.
There we go. That's the negative test. Our
less.
sponsors again for today, My Meal Diary. Again, Hassab, do you care about your life?
I do. That is a hell of a question to start off with, but yes, I do.
Do you want to keep living?
I do want to keep
healthily?
living, and I do want to get healthy.
Do you want an application that'll teach you how to stay alive for a long time?
I absolutely do.
Do you want to improve everything?
My mental, my physical, my emotional, I want it all.
Your spiritual,
everything.
Every cell in your body, if you just download this application. My Meal Diary, it's a calorie counting app, but it's not just a calorie counting app. What else is it?
So basically, it's a calorie counting app. It's really simple, really easy to use. The interface is so much simpler than the competition apps. I open the competition app, I get lost in it, bro. I don't know where to add my calories, breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Easy user interface. I'm
easy user interface.
There you go.
I just give find the search bar in the main page. I just write my meal that I want. I just go into the meal and it goes in my food directly.
Point is, guys, thing is, if it's not for you and you just don't want to live, then you don't have to download it. But if you enjoy life and you want to keep living healthily and just enjoy yourself, then please, My Meal Diary. But now, on to the real stuff.
Just one last thing, just to make sure I really get the plug through. If you do not care about this app, seek medical attention.
Tell them. Oh, and we forgot to say, promo code for our offer. So we're giving you an offer for this app. It has yearly subscriptions, monthly, and 6 months and a year.
Yes, sir.
And basically, lean back. It has those subscriptions, and what you can do is you can use the promo code Through Deep Waters to give you 50% off of those subscriptions.
Promo code Deep Waters. I gotta put the.
It's okay. I just need to anticipate you a little bit better. But yeah. So promo code Through Deep Waters, you get 50% off of any option that you choose. It's already, I think, a lot cheaper than competition apps. We make it even cheaper for you. Calorie counting, track your macronutrients, track your goals. Macronutrients. Track your goals, track your macronutrients, track everything. See your weight, put your calories, brain goal, health goal, joints, keto, everything is in there. Download this app, My Meal Diary, promo code Through Deep Waters, or scan the QR code that's on the screen somewhere. It's going to be on the screen. Scan that with your phone, and you can get this app with our offer, My Meal Diary.
But yeah, so let's now get into it.
Let's get into
Judging
the meat.
from the prologue, I would say you would probably say that you're a people pleaser, right?
I 100% suffered from it, I would say. I've considerably gotten better. I'd like to think so, at least.
I don't think it's healthy to label. Like, I don't want to label
that
it
is
like,
true.
yes, we are people pleasers.
That is
but
true. That is true. It's
it's
like
a
more
problem.
of a spectrum, almost. Yeah.
It's
I
a problem
understand.
that we have and we work on. That's
Exactly.
what it is.
And I don't think for people that do have people-pleasing tendencies that it's something that necessarily comes and then one day you just switch it off. Like, one day I have it, one day I don't. I still sometimes feel the urge to, like, just don't say no. You can't say no. You have to. Just whatever. Deal with it in your own head later. Like, you have to get through this situation first. That's the thing.
Break it down for like somebody who's never heard the term people pleaser. What is a people pleaser?
Okay, basically, the best way I could describe it is if this, because I also want you to hear this definition and apply it to yourself, and maybe you'll realize that maybe I'm a people pleaser. But to me, a people pleaser is you will keep saying yes and yes and yes to requests, no matter the situation it puts you in. So it's not necessarily like, I don't want you to confuse anyone to watch this to confuse people pleasing with being nice. Those are wildly two different things. Being nice is just, being kind-hearted, generous. You care about people. Being a people pleaser is no matter who the person is that maybe they don't deserve your respect or attention or time even, you will still say yes. You will say yes
like
to
a
anything.
compulsive thing to a point where it's tough for
Absolutely.
you to set your boundaries there. So
It's
you
really
can
hard,
get
yeah.
into a mind state where, let's say you're helping this person, but you really can't afford to help them because you need to take some time for yourself, or you need to handle your own business, but you continue to help them because your mind or your heart is not letting you say no. And I want to get into the reasoning for that. So I think it comes from, like, my personal experience dealing with people. I think it comes from like various different reasonings that people will have a tendency to people please. What's your reasoning for that?
Honestly, I thought about this because when I wanted to speak about it, and I think for most people, it might necessarily like originate from their family. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a bad home life or anything. It's just that if you are been growing around the type where you feel like saying no to your parents or not coming through on something, it doesn't have to be like something bad. It's just in general. Like, if you're grown up with that mindset that if I can't say no to my own family, then I can't say no to anyone else type of thing. So I feel like it really comes from like because everyone's a product of their environment. So if you've grown up around that mentality, you feel like, well, you're not really used to speaking with other people. You haven't really built your social circle yet. So you just start off by, what if I just hold myself back and keep saying yes and yes and yes? And then maybe I'll get to a point where they can understand where I'm coming from. But that is the issue in itself.
So-
Once you start, it's so hard to stop.
So that kind of paints the picture of how it starts with you, like in your family home, for example, how that thought pattern develops. But now with that, when you meet somebody and they ask you for a favor externally from that and enters into that people-pleasing territory, how does that thought play into your mind in the situations though?
It's an excellent question. There is 100% a turning point that happens in your head where you realize, I'm slipping into this again. It happens. So I'd meet someone new, for example, and I want to be nice. Like, just I'm still not at the people pleasing stage yet. I just want to be nice. This person I just met, maybe I can make a friend for life even. I like to think positively about the people I meet. So if I meet someone and they would ask me for a small favor, like I just met them at a hangout somewhere and they're like, hey, my ride couldn't come through for me. Is it okay if you drop me off? Even if it's like a really inconvenient place, like I have to go the opposite direction of where I'd be heading usually, I'd be like, that's great, 100%. I'm down. I'd get to spend more time with you, stuff like that.
But I don't see that like.
But
something
that's
like
not it.
that.
That's not the
That's
people
not it.
pleasing though. That's what I'm saying. Like, that is, to me, is just the first kind-hearted impression. People pleasing would start to come in if like I meet this person regularly and I'm starting to realize that they're not necessarily like someone I'm looking to as a friend. They're just someone who's like, if they're there, cool. If they're not, also cool. You know what I mean? But I still feel this like deep-seated urge that you get this voice in your head that's like, you're doing all this stuff for this person that's really not worth it, right? Like, you could put this energy into something better. And there's just this mental block where you're like, yeah, but I've already said yes once. And now if I say no, like, what if he calls me out on it? I don't want to be in that situation. I don't want to be put on the spot, is the point. So you kind of, that turning point that you're talking about is you get this voice in your head that just goes, you did it again. You know what I mean? It's just that, like, that's the sad thing about it. And this is what I want people to realize is, it's not like the person who people pleases doesn't know they people please. They know, and it hurts them every time they do it, but they can't overcome the voice in their head that's like,
But sometimes it takes I don't know about you, but like, let's say if you're so deep in it, I feel like it takes a wake up call from somebody outside to tell you.
100%,
watch
and that's when you really know who your real friends are and who your fake friends are. Someone that was gonna sit you down and they're going to call you out on it, not in a hateful way. They're just gonna tell you, listen, I'm noticing you have this behavior, where like if I was in your position, this is crazy. Like I would never agree to this. Why are you putting yourself? And I know you. You don't want to be in this situation. So it's almost like a cry for help.
Right.
You know, that someone would notice and they'd be like, okay, maybe I should talk to this person. Maybe I should tell them that what you're doing is wrong. And I understand why you're doing it. Maybe you've had people pleasing tendencies. That's the hardest, when you can relate to someone that has it, and especially if you've worked on yourself and gotten better, and you go and talk to someone that you think or is like showing signs of having it, and they finally get that like, oh, I'm not the only one feeling. You know what I mean?
But you know what? It's like one thing that you have to also give credit for and acknowledge is how hard it is to actually get out of that habit.
It is extremely difficult. 100%.
For you to like live like as a people pleaser, you're essentially like, okay, fine, I'm doing all these things that I don't want to do, but like that's it. This is who I am. I'm comfortable this way. To get out of that habit, to say like the whole idea of being a people pleaser is you don't want to say no. And then to have to say no to someone and to repeatedly do it so you can show yourself that you are strong enough and you're like that you're not the person who will succumb to everything. That puts you in like a stage of discomfort that normally you're not in. And just being in that stage of discomfort alone,
that is the hardest.
That's credible, and that's just like it's so like crazy because it's. Again, if it was easy, everyone would do it.
No one would be a
Do you
people
feel like you're a people pleaser?
To be honest, I don't. I think actually I'm...
But this is a great thing, because if I felt like I was and you felt like you was, then this is a perfect like real life example of someone that can hear it and be like, oh, so that's what it's like.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. So I mean, I grew up with Zaid,
Yeah.
you know, and I have other people in my family that are kind of like the same. So I do understand the gist of it, but like I've never also had like an in-depth.
He's better at like
this.
setting his limits. You're better at like telling somebody to like F off, basically.
I feel like I was like in school. I was notoriously known as like the guy who doesn't have a filter. Like if I don't like you, I'm gonna tell you like I don't like you. Like don't.
I'm this way too. Like it's very hard for me to hide my feelings about someone.
No,
if
but
I don't like
about...
you, even in a situation where I feel like I have to
that's
talk to you.
That's a fantastic point, because this is a great like thing that you're saying, because to be a people pleaser, it's not like a prerequisite personality where you have to not speak your mind. You can be someone who speaks their mind, but it's just the mental block of saying the letters N-O. Once you put those two together in your head, it's just you cannot physically say it.
But I think
it really feels like someone inside your head is holding you back from saying it.
I want to go back to the thing where I asked you about your motivation for people pleasing, or for example for having a difficult time to say no, like having a difficult time saying no. You talked about like how you grew up and how that shaped your dynamic in terms of how your thoughts are when some people ask you for repetitive favors. For me, it's a little bit different, and I wanted to speak on that. Like for me, it comes from, and I don't know how, like, I don't know if this is a bit weird to say, but it comes a bit from, like, my faith. And not my faith itself. My faith doesn't preach people pleasing by any means, right? But it's like, I grew up in a religious household. So I grew up with parents that taught me about religion. I practiced my whole life, and I believe in it. So when it comes to, like, now helping others, now being friendly or giving people help when they need it, doing favors, that's very emphasized and important in our religion.
Yeah, that if
right?
you're not doing it for them, you're doing it for God almost. Yeah.
Right, and more than that too, the religion preaches kindness and generosity and like giving to others. So if those values are the ones that are enshrined with you, that you grew up with, it becomes very difficult for me then now when I go and somebody asks me for favor once, twice, 3 times, and let's say I know that they're going to be screwed without this favor, or they're going to have a more difficult time without this favor. My mind starts making me think like I'm a bad person, because I know if I like squeeze everything together and put it all like make my time really well, give myself no time to rest, give myself no sleep or whatever, I can make this favor for this person if I really squeeze myself. But
I've seen that happen with you.
if I don't do that, I will feel like God is telling me you're a bad person, which is not true, like astaghfirullah, but it feels like God is saying you're a bad person, you should do more, and I have the fear that on Judgment Day God will call me, why didn't you help this person in that way when you could? Why didn't you do more? And that's the one. And it's very nice to have that mindset to a limit, to where like
it is.
You can control and take time for yourself when you need it. But when it comes to a point where like I cannot physically say no because I'm worried God will judge me for it.
I understand.
You know?
I can understand that.
Like that
I guess
to me,
for some people it's like a different, not necessarily, I don't, because you used the word motivation earlier. I don't think it's necessarily a motivation. It's just a thing in your head that allows you to reach the point where you're a people pleaser. Like I don't know what's the word. It would be like your way of thinking, like your mindset, your mental. It's just there's something that drives you to be kind, and then that kindness that someone abuses, especially. That this is another thing that's important is people pleasing doesn't just happen on their own. Other people have to enable it, and that's why I'm saying you'll know where your real friends or fake friends are. Your real friends, if they see you going into people pleasing tendencies, they'll call you out on it. Like, why? I can see you're uncomfortable, so why are you saying yes? But then someone who's not kind-hearted or not really your close of a friend or doesn't care or doesn't understand people pleasing, we either just take advantage or just not care. Like, oh, this guy just keeps saying yes, so I might as well milk him for everything.
it's
he
not my
has.
problem. He's saying
Yeah,
yes
exactly.
type
It's not my
thing.
problem.
Yeah.
He's like that. I might as well get a free meal, ride, whatever, house out of it, stuff like that. That's so. Some people are like the problem. So it's not just you. I don't want you. If someone's watching this and you think you have a people pleasing tendency, try to see the other people around you. Try to put it in your head in their perspective that if they saw this or if you saw this type of behavior from them, would you call them out on it?
I'll give you an example to that. So I have a friend, Parth. Shout out Parth. He knows about this with me basically. He kind of seen it in me before. And I think once he asked me for a favor when we were traveling. He was going to Uganda, his home country, from Canada. And I was like flying to here from there, I think 2 days later. So I had a lot of preparations to do. I had a lot of packing and stuff to do. And he asked me if I could drop him at the airport. Now we live in Waterloo. The airport in Toronto is at least 45 minutes away, right? So for me to drop him, I would have to, his flight is really early. Like he needs to be in the airport at 7. So I have to wake up at 4 and drop him, get in the airport I have to wake up at 5, and get to the airport by like 6:30, 6:45, right? That like whole thing, and I have so much stuff to do. I hadn't been sleeping much lately because I had like a lot of preparations and I still have a lot more things to handle and take care of. It was like a hectic time. We were traveling, right?
Yeah.
He asked me, I told him, okay, no worries. I told him,
You know, actually, the funny thing is,
First, I told him, if you can find somebody else, do it. But if not, ask me. It's okay. So he's like, no, don't worry. I'd rather you take me. I said, okay, no problem. He sees me going the next couple of days. I'm super stressed. I'm whatever. And I looked at him. I was like, Parth, have you been able to find anybody else? And mashallah, like he just looked at me. He saw how stressed I was. He's like, you know what, Zaid? Don't even worry about it. I'll taxi if I need to. I know this is taxing on you. And like you don't have to take me. Then it kicked in. I felt bad. I felt horrible for saying no. So I told him, man, I feel bad. I feel like I can do it. And he looked at me. He was like, look how stressed you are. You're good. Stay. I'll take Uber, taxi, whatever. And you, like, he didn't mind. He didn't mind spending an extra $20, $30 if it meant I would have peace of mind.
And that's a great friend, and that's exactly the type of mindset that
sounds like a small situation to a lot of people, but
it meant so much to you. Yeah, it meant so much to you.
when this was all happening, like he asked him for a ride, and then like there was like that series of couple of days before they like changed the plan. He said to me like at least like 6 times, like, bro, like I want to find another ride. Like I know Zaid can't say no to me. Like
he told that
like,
to you?
yeah, he said he's like, I know Zaid can't say no to me. I don't want him to take me because I know how stressed he is, and all that. And I was like yeah, like I think at that point I had my license too, so I was like, worst case I'll take you, but like he figured it out anyway. But like he knew, like he was like, Zaid is not gonna say no to me, so I need to figure this out before the flight as well.
Shout out Parth, man. Like,
Shout out.
that's
a real friend right
that's
there.
crazy. I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a real friend.
But that's one thing I noticed about Parth is like this guy like cares about you more than you care about yourself.
He's
Like,
very
really,
much
yeah.
like that, yeah. Which is kind of hilarious, but because I don't see it, because he roasts the fuck out of me all the time.
Yeah,
bro.
but that's how
see
the whole
it.
dynamic is over there.
Yeah,
like,
I guess it's nice to hear it every
like
now and
nobody,
then, you know.
like, do you ever go up to somebody like, bro, like I love you?
No.
Like,
Listen,
like,
this
nobody
is
does that.
It's just a quick side note, right? Especially if you're a woman watching this, the way guys communicate love is pure insults. So like, we'll insult you to your face and then go home and be like, man, that guy's cool. It's just you need to understand, like, this is how it works.
Bro, you know, one time I personally, like, I'm I don't want to say like an emotional guy, but I'm in tune with my emotions, right? So I'll sometimes be like expressing like, oh, I appreciate you, whatever, this and that. Bro, people look at me weird, bro. Like, so Parth, like shout out Parth again. And that situation really showed me kind of that he was a really, really cool, a real friend to me, because he saw my circumstance and put the inconvenience on him at a time where he could take it. You understand?
Do you feel like, okay, I have two questions for you.
Ask.
Do you have a distinct moment that you remember that you look back at yourself and you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah,
Like, have you had that certain scenario where you're just like, bro, like, what is this?
No, 100%, yeah. But it's not necessarily like a point where I wasn't a people pleaser, and then that day happened, and then I realized, oh, I'm a people pleaser now. Not necessarily that, but it's like the first moment where I realized, like, wow, this is like an actual problem. Like, I really need to figure out how to work this out. So I'll just basically give the gist of the story. Is that like when I was in my first year of college, I had moved into the dorms, and I met up with friends there. And after like the first year, we were like, hey, we don't want to stay in the dorms anymore, so we want to go like get a house with ourselves. I'm like, okay, that's fantastic. So ended up doing that, and the more you, this is another thing, is the more you start to live with people, the more you like start to see like, oh, they get more comfortable, they like speak to you in like their more natural way. The guard drops basically, right? But then around that time is when I started getting my license. And I like, fortunately, my dad had bought me a car. So I was like, this is great. Like, I live with my friends. I have a license and a car, which is for 18-year-olds. Is like, you basically made it. Like, your life is set. That's literally all we care about. So at that point, I was like, yeah. At first, I was excited to just drive. Like, anyone would understand this. I was just excited to just drive.
You just want to go to the supermarket.
So you could tell me like, oh my God, I need to go to the supermarket at 3 a.m. and I will wake myself up. Let me take you. It's just that like excited feeling. But then that gradually wears off, right? So we had this friend that used to come over to stay with us a lot, and she lived in Abu Dhabi. Our house was in Dubai, so it's like a hour, 30-minute drive, I'd say. And for the first time she came, she was like, yeah, I stay in Abu Dhabi. And I saw her, like, she was basically stressing about herself, like, I don't know about the bus situation, and like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's kind of a far way. So I was like, hey, I just offered, like, just because I just barely knew her. I met her. I was like, hey, do you want me to take you? Like, I don't mind. It's cool. Like, you don't, even if it's like a fuel issue or whatever, it's fine. So then I did that. And this is what I was saying. Like, the first time I'm kind. So I was like, yeah. She's like, can you? Thank you so much. I'll drop gas. I'll do all that. I'm like, it's fine. Like, don't think of it like as you have to pay me back. I just see you're in a really bad situation. And if I was in your position, I'd want someone to help me out. So I dropped her off. Hour, 30-minute drive, hour, 30-minute coming back. I thought nothing of it. It started to happen where she'd come over frequently, and I started to see that because I offered the first time, she's sort of like, oh, you're my guy, right? Like, I'll pay you every time, but you're my guy, right?
Oh, she used to pay you for it?
Like as in fuel, like not as like I'm the taxi service or whatever. It's just that like whatever fuel service I will cover.
It'd be such a violation.
Yeah, that would be like actual disrespect. But like, you know how it is between guys. Like, if you need a favor, like I got you. But if it's too far, like just help me out with fuel. But see, this is the thing, is she'd help me out with fuel, so it's not like she's taking advantage of me necessarily. She's paying me for what I'm doing, but because the first time I did it, and then I saw she needed it the second time, it almost to me was like, oh, you didn't account for another plan because you just assumed I would do it. So now I feel put on the spot because I don't want to be like, hey, what's wrong with you? Like, I don't want to do this. Like, why don't you make another plan if you're coming all the way here? So then I said yes the second time. And at that time, I was like, okay, this is the last time I'm going to do it. Like, I'm thinking in my head.
You always say that, though.
But that's the thing,
you always,
exactly.
Like, you don't understand. You're in your mind when you go and you leave at the situation. You're like, okay, next time I'm going to say no. Next time I'm going to say no. The next time comes and you end up saying yes anyway, bro.
That's the thing. You get put on the spot so hard. You're like, I can't say no. I can't. Just do it. This is the last time. And next time, just avoid the whole house if you have to. Like, this is what I'm saying. You will put yourself at extreme lengths of discomfort to make this situation either go away. But then when you're put on the spot, you just have no other feeling but to say yes. So this kept happening like 3 or 4 times. And by the end of it, I'm like, this is like a genuine problem. Like, I don't like doing this. This was obviously like way past that. I was like, the driving hype started to die down. That now I'm like, this is just a chore. Like, I'd rather chill at home or get on my studies or whatever. But this person wants to hang out, and I don't want to say, I can't say no. And this is the last time. The next time it happens. This is the last time. The next time it happens. So that's like a turning point for me that was almost like, well, I need to check myself. Like, this is an issue. I really am people pleasing now.
And like, can I just say too, like, there's a certain kind of person out there, and I'd like, you know, the people, I'm sure everybody runs into this type of person in their life, where let's say if they ask you for favors constantly nonstop, then they tell you like let's say they put you a favor, I don't know, favor X, let's say. I can't think of anything right now. But in that situation, you've agreed to help them, but it's like it's their thing. They're required to do, like, let's say you're doing this thing with them, right? Like, help me build this house. They're building and you're building, right?
Okay.
You go out of your way to help them build. I don't know. I can't come up with a better example. My bad.
I
you go
understand
out of your way to help build this house. So you're both putting work in the thing that's theirs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Let's say the house foundation comes out bad, right?
Okay.
So now the house isn't built properly. You both worked on it. There's that kind of person that's gonna try to make you feel bad that, oh, take responsibility. Why did the house foundations come bad?
Even though I like.
Even though
helped
like bro, I came out of my way to help you.
I get nothing out of it.
You know,
I don't get a room. I
There's
don't live in the
literally
town.
like I put hours in sweat. That's what I put, and I accommodated my day and stuff. And okay, the house foundation. I'm not a builder. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
the house foundations came out bad.
But you needed my help, so I came.
Now, like you're using tactics to make me feel like and I think one good way to tell if you're this person is a people pleaser or not, or not that, sorry, if this person is your friend or not, as a person whose tendency is to people please, is to see if things go badly in whatever you're helping them with, how do they treat you then?
100%.
How are they moving towards you then? Because if they start to dismiss that relationship, and I'm not saying it's true always, like sometimes your people might need time to cool down, sometimes whatever, that's fine. But if people start to then neglect that relationship and like they just forget about you, they don't talk to you, they don't approach you, they don't ask about you, that's when, okay, so I helped him in this thing and then it went bad, so they're now, you understand? They're moving in a certain way towards me. Now I know. And it doesn't have to always be bad blood, but I feel like in that situation, you might benefit from setting some boundaries.
Dude, that's the thing. It's one of those learning experiences where you're like, okay, this ended up badly for me. How many times, this is like a conversation that you're almost having with yourself in the mirror, is how many times does this have to go south for me before I realize that, okay, this has to stop. Like, I need to do something. This can't keep going. I can't just keep saying yes forever. There's a point where I have to stop. I have to overcome that voice in my head that's like, bro, just say yes. Who cares? You'll deal with it later when you're on your own. Just say yes, just say yes, just say yes.
And as much as I think it's important for people to remember too, as much as, let's say, if the person without your help will be 60% successful, but with your help, they might be 80% successful. Let's say, for example.
True, yeah.
If that's the case, and you can help, but if it's like impeding on you and what you want to do, in that situation, I would say like, it's really important to remember that you don't have an obligation there. If you want to be generous, and you're going back to what I said about faith and generosity and stuff like that, that's a principle applies if you've taken care of you. So once you are taken care of, fine. And that doesn't just go for like obligations. That goes for if you need time for you. If you've done things all day in the evening, you just want to come home and relax. You don't want to hear anything. But so you're telling them, I can't help you in the evening because I want to relax. Now they're thinking, oh, he doesn't care about me. He wants to relax. No, I've been busting my ass all day. I've been working. I've been doing this, that, running errands. I need my time. And I'm sorry, but you can't touch this me time. You understand?
Just to add on your point, is that this is an excellent point, but just to really drive it home is you don't owe people the effort you wouldn't give yourself. That is like a 100% a fact. If you're not willing to do this thing for yourself, how are you willing to do it for other people? And this is another thing, is if I've worked hard all day and I came home and I wanted to relax, I owe myself that rest time. Because if I don't give myself that rest time, I burn out. I end up negatively affecting myself just to end up saying yes for a favor that or I don't even want to do, or like it's just not something that's interesting to me, or whatever the case might be. But the point is, you don't owe someone else the effort you wouldn't give yourself. That is just has to be said.
And if somebody says, I think another thing too, if somebody says, oh, but you're my brother, but you're my boy, you should be coming through for me.
That's not a real brother.
You know why? Because if you're my brother, let's say, like I was talking with Zach about this a couple days ago. Zach told me, he was like, if that person is your brother, they would look at you being stressed like that. They would see you in that situation. They would look at how down you are. And they would be like, you know what? I'll take some of that too.
Like your friend from Canada, yeah.
Like
the
Parth,
airport, yeah. Parth,
like
yeah.
Parth. So
no friend wants to bring you a negative in your life and just to give themselves a positive.
yeah,
That's not
for
a
the
friend.
mics, for the mics that didn't pick it up, Zach said no friend wants to give you a negative in your life just so they can get a positive.
Yeah, that's
That's
not a real
selfish
friend.
thinking.
That's
That's
not a
when
real
you
friend.
realize like some relationships in your life are transactional and you don't even know. And you won't know for the longest time until one day you're like, shit, like,
I'm so glad
You
you
know,
said
you
that.
know, you know
I'm
what's
so
the
glad
test
you
for
said
that? The test for that, okay, now you've been helping them when they need you. When you need them, what happens?
Yeah.
Well, what happens
the first
then?
time, yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, what happens? Like, if I'm sorry, but if I have helped somebody so much, and now I need them, I need their help, and crickets, nothing, like no effort. Like I'm sorry, it is what it is at that point, you know.
but
Like,
let me ask you a more constructive question, just to brighten it up.
Okay.
what would you say? Actually, this could end up being like a very destructive question depending on your answer.
Okay, I'll try my best. Okay.
No, to be honest though, but
Uh-huh.
what would you say? So you like, for example, you're tackling, if not tackled, this whole issue of people pleasing at the moment, right?
It's an ongoing battle. I say that
Yeah,
it's not.
But
I
like,
don't-
but you're not where you were like say 2-3 years ago.
I would like to think so. Yeah,
Okay.
I've definitely put in the effort.
How like do you think the progress you've made, you would have made the same progress without your support bubble and your friend group behind you?
No, 100%. I would not have made the same support.
How have they like impacted how you're thinking and how you want?
Because this is what I'm saying. The example you were saying about like how you know whether it's your real friend or not is by the time you need a favor, it's cricket. It's kind of that same thing because I would be speaking to my friends and like when you speak to like people like you've been your close friends or your brothers for such a long time, you naturally just talk about much deeper topics. So it's the kind of thing where it's like, okay, if the voice in my head is always gonna be against me, so I might as well find the voice that's with me. So talk to like a friend like Zach, for example, or Chris. I talk to them and I'd be like, okay, so this is what I think about 1, 2, 3, and this is how I feel like I'm moving towards this. If you guys were in my position, because like I don't consider them necessarily people pleasers, but I'm saying if you guys are in my position, what would you say? And this is the thing: it's not necessarily that their advice or bad is good. Oh, sorry, it's not necessarily that their advice is bad or good. It's just that they all come from a different mindset. So it's interesting to me to hear the answer to a people pleasing problem from someone that doesn't have it. You know what I mean?
It's trivial to them.
Yeah, because
It's
to them
really-
it's like, yeah, exactly. Because to them, but that's the thing. That's not a bad thing on them, but it really opens up your perspective. Because if you are met with the answer, just say no. Then you start
That's
to put
so
it in your
foreign
head.
to me.
Yeah, you exactly start to put it in your head. How come it's that easy for them? And it's
Yeah.
that weird for me that like the idea of saying no is like so frightening and so big in my head.
See, this is the thing. I think Zach is the type of person. I'm glad to have Zach as a friend because Zach is the type of person. He's quickly check you on this. Like the other day, I was
Yeah.
talking to him. I was talking to him about this, and he was telling me like, "Why the fuck are you saying yes to this or that?" You
This
know
is
what I mean?
stupid, yeah.
Like he just like he let me hear it in a way that now I'm rethinking everything. You
No, but see,
understand?
this is like a great thing about being able to talk to people or like your support circle, like you said, is that them giving you the solution that in their head like this isn't a big deal, just say no. That to me was the biggest help in the sense that it took the power away from the word no. Is if they're throwing it around so freely, then let me start doing it. So you start practicing in moderation. Like you need to hear it from someone, and then you need to start practicing it yourself. So when I'm like, okay, for them it's easy to say no. I try saying no. What's the worst that can happen? Am I gonna get in a fight every time? No, that's unrealistic. Oh, sorry.
Peanut
Okay?
proof, peanut proof.
Jeez, thank God we got the backstage guys on deck today, huh?
Thank you guys. You guys are.
But yeah, okay.
Hey, say
I
less.
wanna say quickly, like, okay, let's go back a little bit to where you said like you spoke to them about it and you were like, oh, this is how I'm feeling about XYZ, whatever.
Did it spit on the wire, Loki? Really quick? Or is it just on the
No, it's nowhere near the wire.
Okay, say less.
Just the fact of like, bro, and remember, you're a man. We're all men. Like, just sitting down and having a conversation where you're making yourself vulnerable.
That's
takes
real. That's
so much. Like, I can't sit with my friends and be like, guys,
I haven't.
I'm so worried about an issue that I have that's close to my heart, and I'm scared. Like, bro, like,
That's why I feel so blessed for our group.
That's 100%.
Fam, like,
is.
there's nothing like it.
Like being able to sit down with someone and just tell them, listen, you guys are essentially to me my safe space. Because some people might not have that, like with their family or with their spouse or husband, wife, whatever, right? But to have a group of people, a support circle around you that you can say to them, like, okay, you guys, this is on some real shit. Like, I have to speak to you. I have this issue. If you were in my position, what would you do? But that's what I'm saying. Just hearing the way they attack the problem kind of takes the power away from it, because you're like, if it's that easy for them, then I'll just start practicing. And that's how I feel like for myself I got better as I started saying like, the more I say no, the easier it gets. It's the same with anything. It's the first step to like recognizing a problem, the first step to fixing a problem is recognizing there is one. So once you start like, okay, this is something I'm gonna work
my
on.
dad would love that quote. Actually.
Yeah, it's real, because how else are you gonna start fixing something if in your head it's not even an issue? So that's why you reach the turning point where, like for me, it was like the whole AD thing, and I was like, yeah, I can't keep doing this. This is like genuinely annoying and hurting me at this point. pissing me off or whatever.
Bro, driving to AD is no picnic as well. 'Cause
Yeah,
AD is
you
Abu
always
Dhabi.
have these people driving like the big ass patrols, just
Bro,
going like 150.
I swear to God, I have a tan on the back of my neck from them headlights, bro. It's bad. It's bad out here. It's bad, bro. It's not good.
Bro, yo, by the way, the thing is, like, okay, when the cameras are off, Hussam is one of the funniest people I ever. We're not even that close, but he's one of the funniest people I ever met in my life.
Thank
The other
you.
day
I
was-
appreciate it.
The other day, I think when we filmed a couple episodes ago with Zach's episode, Hussein came by after his isolation ended, and he just sat with Hussam and us. And I just knew this was the first time Hussein was sitting with Hussam in a long time, because this guy would not stop laughing,
Bro, I
bro.
was laughing my ass off the whole
This
night.
guy will not stop laughing. I was trying to create more space for you to make jokes and stuff, but I didn't want to force it. I was like, let's just let the conversation.
It comes
flow.
naturally, bro. It comes naturally.
That's how it is, yeah.
But that's one thing I'll say about Egyptians.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly the funniest Arabs. Without a shadow of the doubt. they're the
We
funniest.
got comedy on lock for sure.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. That's why you guys have like the media, low key, like the
Oh, like
the
art cinema and
productions the
stand-up and
cinemas
stuff like that,
because you
yeah.
guys are hilarious, bro.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I do agree. A lot of Egyptians that I know are just naturally like funny, exuberant people. Like you talk to them and you're like, wow, I guess like you could do stand up type thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Not just like, oh, he cracked a joke once.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, okay, here's one more for you. They say that like you get a lot of learning through teaching. Have you ever thought of or tried that experience of like if somebody else comes to you and they tell you, yo, like Sam, I'm a people pleaser, like what do I do? Have you ever been in a position where you can give advice and then in turn like
I don't think I've had like a specific experience where it was like that direct that someone came to me and was like, listen, I have like they said the words people pleasing, but me knowing what it's like, I can kind of pick up that that's what they mean, but even they themselves might not know that that's what it is. So like I've had like a conversation with Zaid about this, for example, where I'm like, yeah, this is how I feel about it. He's like, yeah, me too, same, this happened. So just, it's not necessarily teaching. I'm pretty sure, I'm 1,000% sure that would help, but it's just talking to someone that has a similar experience. It's the same reason why like there are support groups for like certain types of people. Is that just talking to someone that has had a similar experience to you makes you realize like two things. One, I'm not alone in this. This I'm not weird. Like this doesn't just only happen to me because I'm unlucky or stupid or whatever. And the other thing is that if they're finding success and helping themselves, then I can learn from that success. Or and if I get that success and I teach it or pass it on to someone else, that ingrains it in me even more.
That's what this is too.
But-
Yeah,
like the
100%,
podcast, like
yeah.
that. We're doing like this is what this experience is.
This
for
is
you.
honestly therapy with a mic to me. Like really,
Yeah.
this is therapy with a mic.
But bro, like I'll give you like an example. I'm gonna take it away from the whole thing for a second. Like I do coaching in boxing mostly, and like I've had moments where I'm talking to like somebody who's like a novice, doesn't
Yeah.
know much at all, and I'm explaining something to them like technique wise, and I'm like, if I know this and I'm telling you this, then why don't I do this? You know, and then it gets you thinking like okay, wait, if I told him like, oh, turn your right foot on the cross, why don't I turn my right foot on the
Yeah,
cross?
do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, and then you start realizing like, why don't you do as you say as well, rather than just preaching it, you know? But like, that's why like I'm such an advocate for as much as you can teach, as much as you can give advice.
because it helps
give
you
advice.
as it helps other person.
Exactly,
100%.
especially if the issue is close to your heart, bro. So as much as like as many conversations as you can have about the issue of like being a people pleaser or helping somebody with it, do it, bro, because you'll get these gems out of places you never thought you'll get.
That is 1,000% true. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
That like I had an experience like that one time in like a random thing. Teaching empowers you, it elevates your ability. Like one time I went ice skating with some friends, right? And we had I was ice skating with some of my other friends, and I was just unsure, and they were like flying, and I just didn't know. I was scared that I was gonna fall. I hadn't ice skated in a long time. And then there was this one friend, Faro, shout out Faro. She was very like, she didn't know ice skating that well. She was very bad. So I saw she wasn't having a good time. She just couldn't move that well. She fell every now and then, and I felt bad. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll go and I'll do my best. Like
If we fall together, at least, like,
Right?
it's better, yeah.
Can you believe when I went to show her how to skate, like to try to help her, even though I was like wobbling myself. When I went there, I was flying. I was teaching her, I was
Yeah.
flying. Like, oh, you do like this, follow me, come behind me, go like this, whatever. And we flew. And the people, the friends that I was with at the time, they looked at me, I was going and they were like, what, like, how the hell did he learn that in 3 minutes?
Yeah.
And I'm not like supernatural with it, but it was just showing me like that teaching moment.
When you show someone the ropes, you hold them yourself.
There you
That's
go.
it.
Not only.
Oh,
like,
that's powerful. Say that again.
I'm telling you, when you show someone the ropes, you hold them yourself, so you
Clip
get
that.
familiar with it.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the quote for Hassan's episode.
I'm down, bro. I'm so down.
Say
But,
less.
bro, like,
Yes, I got it.
do you know why that is? They like you know all these like facts where you get like from these like you know the Instagram page like 8 facts and whatever, and they always say like, oh, like the human brain is like you only use like 3% of your human.
Oh yeah,
brain
that's
capacity.
by the way. Sorry, I really need to say this. That's a myth that was started by the movie Lucy, the one with Morgan Freeman and Scarlett Johansson. That's fake. Everyone uses 100% of their brain, or you
100%?
die, bro. Yes, I'm so tired of hearing this as a fact on the
Bro, I
internet.
had such a good argument ready as well. Like
it
based on that
started.
premise.
It started from a movie because the whole point of the movie. I'm sorry, I know it's such a
I'm
tangent.
gonna fact check. Just while you talk, I'm gonna fact check.
The whole point of the movie is that she uses 10% of her brain, and then she takes this magical drug that makes her unlock 100%. So she basically becomes like this all-knowing.
moves objects
Yeah,
and-
like she's
That's
telekinetic
like with
and all
NZT,
that.
with
Yeah,
Limitless.
yeah, limitless as well. Yeah, I mean, bro, if you did not use 100% of your brain, you would be deceased. Okay.
You can't use 100. PsychologyToday.com says you can't use 100% of your brain, and that's a good thing. What percentage of brain do people use? Okay, fine, nearly 100%.
Yeah, bro, thank you. God. Because
Okay.
like, if anyone studied even like 10 minutes of biology, you would know like, that means I'd be dead. Like, straight up.
Okay, let me go.
Okay,
Back.
It doesn't fire from you two all the way.
This guy had a whole argument.
I'm gonna.
No,
I'm gonna
but I still want to hear it though. I honestly
yeah.
still
I'm
want to
Let's
hear it.
gonna-
pretend for this
revamp-
next 10 like 1 minute. Let's pretend that this is true. You only use 3.
No. I'm just gonna revamp the whole argument. I'm gonna make it true.
Okay,
Okay.
go.
Regardless of how much percent of your brain you use, the human mind is so extremely capable,
That's true.
and sometimes what gets in the way between you and your goal is yourself.
Your
mind,
biggest obstacle.
Exactly. Like again, like with the whole ice skating thing. Like I'm sure if you didn't teach Faro, your mind would have figured out how to ice skate. But when you're put in a position where you're essentially being tested.
Yeah.
You're like shit. Like okay, now I have to bring this knowledge out of
The
me.
adrenaline.
It's like survival.
Comes out,
It's a
yeah,
survival
yeah,
instinct.
Exactly. So
Fight
that's
or flight. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's why I'm always like, bro, as much as you can like teach and preach, do it, because it'll bring out something out of your mouth that you didn't know you had.
100%. Like, and can I also like add like a quick note, because I think this is very important. If you're a people pleaser, that doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you a spineless person,
Thank you.
right?
Yes.
It's not like you're scared. It's more so like for me, I feel like I'm a bad person. It's a morality issue. Or it's an issue where you're conditioned by your childhood to behave in a certain way. I've seen you square up, bro. Like you're not you're not scared.
But see, that's the thing.
you know,
No,
like-
I'm so glad you said this, because it's the same as any other mental block. No one wakes up and they're like, you know what, today I want to be a people pleaser. No one chooses to have something bad happen to them or have something bad in their head. So it's just something where you have to accept, I'm human, I'm going to make mistakes, I need to take steps to address this issue. Just the fact in itself, especially as a man, just the fact in itself that you take that step and you're like, I'm going to work to get better, that is already props enough to you. That makes you better than most people. Just from the onset, from the jump. That just makes you better than most people. The fact that you're willing to stop and look at yourself, reflect on yourself, and realize that this is a mistake and recognize that I have an issue, you've already done half of the work. That in itself, you've already done half the work.
And can I just say, if you download My Meal Diary, you will never even have the problem of being a people
Look, this whole thing was an ad. We're thinking
You
in
think we
5D.
care about people pleasing?
This is how you use 100% of your brain. Right there.
That is a big brain move.
Yo, I made a funny joke, bro.
Yes.
I did it.
Put it in the
then
tally,
you
bro.
ruined it right
Put it in the
after.
tally. No.
You made the joke and then you made me wish I never heard that
No.
joke.
Bro,
Put it
I'm
in the
just so
tally.
gassed.
No,
That's on the edge and it fell.
I relate to that because when you want to be funny and you nail it, I have to stop myself from going ha. You know what I'm saying?
No, but I'm not a funny guy. I always make lame jokes, and I
But
finally
it's
have a
okay.
funny
Hey,
joke.
it
You are
landed.
a funny guy because you make lame jokes.
That is true, by the
Oh,
way.
that's a
but
different
it's
kind of
Yo,
funny.
by the way, I haven't seen I don't like watching the episode until it's out. Zach's episode, I heard you guys were just busting on Zaid's driving for like a good
true. Oh
minute.
yeah.
Leave my driving
I'm
alone.
so
I'm a
excited
good
for
driver.
that one.
All the listeners, everybody, I'm a good driver.
I
know-
promise you.
He's a safe driver.
No,
Safe.
bro. He's so frigid on the wheel. Ya Allah.
Get
Bro,
away from the mic.
Wait. Is it fair? Is it fair to roast someone twice on their own podcast? Come on, like I'm on your side on this
say
one.
what you want to say.
Yo, so I don't know if y'all can hear me, whatever, but
Wait, come closer to the mic. Get
Yeah,
up.
come closer. Come closer.
Yo,
Good thing you got a
shout out
face.
Zach. Zach in the cut. I think. Are you
Go.
gonna make the camera?
what's up?
Yeah.
You cut, I ain't blah, no more
Jeez.
shit.
Okay, say less.
But yeah, I was saying, like, a couple days ago, I was talking with KD. With
Closer,
Khalid.
closer.
I was talking with KD, I was talking with Khalid,
Yeah.
and we were talking about, like, oh, me, Link, and Zaid, and we did the podcast and stuff like that. And then he goes, oh, does driving get better? And I just started laughing, right?
There's no way he said that.
And then I'm like,
There's no way he said that.
It's an actual
no,
problem.
I'm playing. We were talking about the whole Toronto thing where you can rent cars out and stuff like that. And I was like, oh yeah. And he said like, bro, it's like $600 like if you just crash it and stuff like that. But I'm like, damn, he crashed it. You know what I mean?
I didn't even know that was coming.
I love that. That's the condition. Like that's the price you set for yourself. Oh, you know.
Oh
I
my god,
crashed
hold
it.
on, hold on.
What, did I stop recording?
No,
we're good,
we're
we're
okay,
good.
we're okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that, yo,
I got frightened. I lost my my
This is-
soul got
this-
frightened for a second because that one stopped recording almost. But
So
Yeah, we're
then boom, whatchamacallit, Katie was like, it's scary, right? I was like, bro, that's scary. Then he's like, bro, imagine he's telling me he crashed two of them while we're in one. Bro, he's a funny guy, bro.
Bro, you know the best part?
I'm sorry for
Zaid
this. man.
specifically told me not to tell anyone
He's
about
leaving,
this crash.
guys. He's going home. This is me and Hussein's podcast
Yo,
right now.
you know what? We're gonna.
This
This is clickbait. We're gonna title this Zaid walks out of.
Yeah, this is clickbait.
I
Put
left
the
the podcast
emoji.
and no one asked for me back.
I acknowledge that you.
Zach, just come sit in his face, bro.
Yo, at this point, you know what kills me? I was on the phone with him the other day. I was roasting him, right? I was like, yo, bro, are you sure you're gonna drive? And he goes, why you acting like you ain't never crashed a car? Three of us in the room, right? Bro, we never crashed a car.
But like at a certain point, everybody has had an incident, bro. Like, why are you roasting
By the
me?
way, do
haven't
you guys not see the?
No, listen. Okay, comment down.
Go step back before you start shouting in this mic.
Comment down below before you say anything. I got in an accident like 6 months before I got my license. So technically, Zach, what
That's
do you think?
fair.
My
By the way,
record's
that's
clear.
fair.
Police-
Ever since I got my license,
Yeah, that's fair. That's
ever
fair.
since I got my license, I've never been in an accident or an incident
That's
or
fair.
I have been in a close call. Bro, I almost died once in a car.
No, I was with you. And that was the.
For legal purposes, this is all a joke.
Hypothetically speaking,
Yeah, this is another saying. Right?
this is my cousin, bro. Bro, how did we stray so far?
No,
off
but
topic?
no. By the way, this is actually I'm trying to put you guys on like gold right now. Is the fact that you're put in this situation, right? Where like it's obviously all jokes and love, like all the driving jokes and stuff. But see, tell me this, because I know I've experienced this. If I'm in the type of position where like people are making fun of me for something, but I still know that it's like comes from a kind-hearted place. I would honestly have that people-pleasing tendency slip into that as well.
Like,
Because
how do you mean?
But this is the thing. Like, if I was in your position, that I would kind of like. No, I wouldn't say like, no, bro, what are you talking about? I'd be like, yeah, you're right. Like, I'm scared to even as a joke, say it back.
Bro, no,
But that's
look,
what I'm saying. That's why I'm glad this happened.
And
It's
this
like-
is another thing too. Like, let's say for example, people make jokes on like people roast each other, and you get like your turn in like roasting as well. And let's say you're happy, you're okay with 95% of it. Somebody hits a 5% or says something
That's over the top,
Is
like,
over
yeah.
the top, but it's not really over the top. But you just took it some type of way.
Yeah,
You know those ones
yeah.
where it's not really. He didn't say anything too far left, but you just took
But,
it some type
yeah,
of way.
that
But
wasn't,
now
like-
I don't want to say anything because now if I say something, that person is gonna be like, "Oh, he's not like comfortable roasting. I'm gonna filter."
But we are
I'm gonna,
touching parallels today. This
Bro,
is
mind reading, bro.
I'm telling you this. I'm so glad this whole tangent thing happened because it led us to this point. Is that it's not just about serious situations. You struggle to say it in everything.
You know what? That was actually genuinely like a perfect example. Whole
Like
conversation.
really,
was a
seriously, that was a perfect
of
example. You can see it. I'm glad this happened because now you see it act out in real life. Is that if you still had like people,
Yeah, you're an asshole, bro.
you're a piece of
I
shit.
started the whole thing, but you're an asshole.
Yeah, you really jumped in on the mic just to roast your own friend.
So love.
After I bigged him up too, I was like, "Yeah, Zach is a great person to have,
I'm
great
telling
friend,
you, bro.
whatever." And then he comes and
Fake friends,
you
bro.
see?
Fake friends.
Asshole with chest, bro. I ain't no sneaky asshole. You know what I mean?
You gotta watch out for your friends too.
again, like towards the ending of every segment, we like to finish off by asking the guest to give a piece of advice to the viewer. It could be any form of advice. It was just something that, like, if you could let somebody live off of this advice, what is it?
In
Okay.
relation to what we talked about.
Yeah, okay. So the biggest advice that I had to give myself, and I would, if anyone's watching this that has people pleasing tendencies or wants to like stop feeling that way, that's one is the thing we already said, that you're not you're not wrong for it. It's
And
not
you're
something
not weak.
You're not weak. It's not something that you can't recover from. It's just like any other addiction. You take steps to address it and limit yourself. You practice stuff in moderation. You start saying no. You start realizing that just because I have to put myself sometimes, it does not make me a bad person. That is just the absolute truth. But the biggest advice I would give after that is just try to realize, because it all has to start in your mental before you start practicing it physically and saying it. Is just try to realize that the word no isn't as serious as that voice in your head makes it out to be. That when that voice is like actively going against your better judgment, because I'm telling you, you'll battle these two voices in your head where one will go, this is stupid, you shouldn't be doing this, stop doing this, stop saying yes. But the other voice will just be like, yeah, that doesn't matter right now, just say yes, and then later on deal with it in your head. Once you realize that second voice is just bullshit, that it's not real, that word no isn't as bad as your brain is hyping it up to be, that is the biggest step you're going to take. Once you let it take that power away from you,
You really hit the ground running.
that's when you absolutely hit the ground running.
And actually, you can't lose. Let me tell you why you can't lose. Because once you start saying no, yes, you're going to benefit yourself. Yes, you're going to have all these crazy things that are going to happen that are going to improve your life because you've learned to set your boundaries. You're helping people, but not over the line to where it hurts you. But not only that, it will help you and liberate you from those fake friends. Because those fake friends or those people that are... Those fake friends or those people...
Bro, speaking like his sheikh in the masjid.
Yeah.
Those fake friends.
We have been oppressed for so long.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
But no, but genuinely
Yeah, about
speaking
those
though,
fake
those if I say no to you for a favor, and now you're feeling some type of way, like, oh, you're my
Now
you're
I know
my
you're
dog,
not real
you're my
to
dog,
me,
you're
yeah.
supposed to come through for me, you're supposed to da-da-da. Now I know where you stand because now I know how you value me and how you value my time, whether in relation to helping you or helping somebody else, And it took a lot of conversations with my friends to open my mind to this and open my eyes to this. Before I was just thinking, oh, let me help. And when I got checked on it, when I got called on it, you're overstretching yourself. You're extending yourself. Shout out to my friends here and my friends in Canada who talked to me about this. That's when you realize. And then you slowly start to learn to be able to apply that into your behaviors every day. So
Just one last thing I'd want to say is that people pleasing generally comes from a kind-hearted place. So that's something I always try to see the good and the bad, the positive and the negative. Is for most people, just the fact that you have people pleasing tendencies is you're naturally just kind-hearted person. Because like I said, it started with me by saying yes or agreeing to help someone just out of the kindness of my heart. But then I realized that it spiraled into me being a people pleaser. But you should hold on to that part. I'm not saying don't ever say yes. That's not the point of this message.
don't get a chip on your shoulder.
It's just say yes and be kind when you've helped yourself first. Because if you're not kind to yourself and you're kind to others, you're doing yourself the biggest disservice. Be generous, be kind, be loving, be caring. But do it to yourself also, not just other people.
Mm-hmm.
To sum it all up, download My Meal Diary.
To relate to the whole My Meal Diary too, is I want to say that in
Come.
Come to
'Cause
the
we can't hear you.
Yeah.
Chris, if you have anything to say as well, bro, you're welcome.
Yeah, man. Hey guys, shout out to everyone.
Bro,
that's
get as
listening.
close as Hussam and me have been on the mic.
Yeah, shout out to everyone that's been listening, everything like that. And I just wanted to mention that treat the people that enter your life treat how you treat your body, treat your mind and heart the same way. You know what I mean? Bring in the healthier people, the people that actually care about you into your heart. You wouldn't if you don't care about your body, you're gonna eat whatever junk you want to do. You know what I mean? Your body's gonna go to shit. Same way that if you bring toxic people into your life, your heart and your mind's gonna go into shit. You know what I mean? I don't blame toxic people too much because you grow up in a toxic household, your environment is toxic, all you know is being toxic. So when you meet genuine people, you don't know how to act.
Right.
But it's everyone in this world is built different. Some people without a father to raise them the right way will act better than someone with a father to raise them the right way. So it doesn't give no one an excuse to be a bad person. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's your mental will. So don't let those people take in mind and you feel bad for them or sorry for them, like you owe them something. Same way you don't owe them anything, you don't owe yourself as well. You know what I mean? So, like, take in the people around you, same way you take things into your body. You know what I mean?
Big facts.
Your
Big
body, your body, and your
factor,
mind.
bro. Big factor.
Your body and your mind are blessings, man. Count your blessings.
The same
Count
way.
your calories, ladies and gentlemen.
Using the
That's
app.
what I'm done.
No, but that's actually a great point. It's the same way.
When you count your calories, promo code through deep waters.
It's the same way you have a physical diet to get your body healthy. There's also an emotional diet, and you need to practice by taking in the lessons you learn from other people, the experiences, the things that you teach, and the things that you learn that will carry forward with you until you die. This is something that, again, if anyone is watching this and you feel like you're a people pleaser, just know that you're not alone and that you can get better. That is just nothing better I can say.
I know this is gonna sound like a joke, but I'm gonna go back to the calories.
No. Go for it. If you can relate something to another, it makes it that much more powerful.
Okay, so with the concept of calorie count, like the way you said, like treat your mind like you treat your body, give yourself a mental calorie limit of like exhausting yourself for other people. For example, like driving to Abu Dhabi, that's too many calories. I've had enough for today. I can't do that. Like that's
actually
like mental calories.
That's
Like,
actually great advice.
you know what I mean?
That's
Like,
actually great advice.
so don't tell me that I'm not a good marketer, please. Thank you. Download my new diary. Code through deep waters.
Capital T.
Hit up the business email. Send your boy the CV. We got you.
Guys, like, yo, I hit my calories today, fam.
You know what? Hold up. If people can start slang off of songs, movies, TV shows, whatever, I want to start slang now. If you're a people pleaser and you want to tell people no, but the word no is too hard for you, just be like, hit my calorie limit. That's it. And if they ask you what, just walk away.
That's
Bro,
through deep water slang starting right here, right now.
Right now,
bro.
I'm telling you. You know what? Just to really drive it home, I'll give an example. That if I was being put in a situation where someone's coming to me and they're like, hey, can you drop me off to Abu Dhabi? And I know I don't want to. I'm just going to look at them. I hit my calorie limit. What? You're hungry? Nah, I just don't drive. I'm telling you, just practice it. Let that be your no.
Confuse people.
Let that confuse people.
Kids are watching this. This is where it started.
This is where it started.
Right here. Everybody says this around the world now. It's from here.
This is the genesis. This is where it originated from.
But yeah, Sam, bro, what up?
Thank you so much, guys, for having me. I really appreciated this opportunity.
It was such a nice episode. I
loved it.
Wasn't missing anything. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me.
Guys, we will see you again in 2 weeks. 2 weeks? In
2 weeks, yeah.
Or episode number 12. 13.
This is 12.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Before we go, post for the thumbnail. So the thumbnail of the episode on YouTube.
And have a good night, morning, afternoon, evening, noon.
Drink water.
Eat food,
Download
hydrate
My Meal
yourself.
Diary.
Stop
Count
being
your
weird.
calories mentally, physically, and yalla, goodbye.
Promo code through
I'm
deep
done.
waters. Promo code through deep waters.
With a capital T.
Capital T.
Plug yourself always.
Wait, Sam, do you have anybody you want to shout out?
Anybody I want to shout out? Oh,
We've been
damn.
ending this podcast for 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, I'll try to keep it brief. I just want to shout out basically all the people that have been in my support circle. That if it wasn't for them, I would not have been able to be as good as I am today. So thank
Anybody
you.
want to give the finger to?
Anybody I want to give the finger to? Wow, damn, you're putting me on the spot. You know what? No, just like I said, practice kind-heartedness. Practice kind-heartedness. Okay, yeah, just for the sake of the mic, I'm just gonna, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
Guys,
thank you guys
I'm
so
sorry
much for
this was
watching,
PG.
listening,
Yeah.
streaming, and
With that, take care.
Thank you guys.
We out.